Welcome to the Avro Heritage Museum podcast, supported by Museum Development North and Arts Council England.
David Pearce is a Woodford stalwart who started his apprenticeship in the mid-1960s working for Hawker Siddeley. After qualifying, he began as a fitter, moved up to foreman, and then into project management. He retired in the early 2000s. We're going to be hearing about his extensive work as project manager for the Advanced Turboprop, or ATP. The Woodford nickname for the aircraft was the Advanced Tater Pie. Dave shares with us his involvement in the testing of the aircraft for extreme weather conditions, as well as recalling the different countries he visited and the people that he met in promoting this very successful aircraft. And in the latter part of our conversation, he shares his experiences as the head of a large restoration team for Vulcan XM603, which has been on the Woodford site since 1982. But Dave began by explaining how he seemed to be destined from his early days as a youngster for a life in aviation.
I was always an aircraft fanatic. Up to Manchester Airport, plane spotting, but I was always watching aeroplanes. Yeah. And when I lived with my mother and father in Cheadle, we came over the house in Cheadle on Brookfield Road, landing, right over the house. I had some friends that had a market garden on Manchester, where the airport hotel is. Yeah. Well, they had a market garden further down the road from that, and they used to go plane spotting there. Not just me, there was a gang of us. I'm still in touch with two or three of them. Mm-hmm. That we used to go plane spotting, and we used to, Bullets coaches used to do quite regular trips to London Heathrow for a day. I used to go early in the morning and come late back at night. And I did a lot of that. And then I was managed to get a motorbike and give me a bit more freedom rather than trudging around all the time. I came to Woodford to try and get an apprenticeship, but I wasn't old enough to be an apprentice. Yeah. So I actually went to Manchester Airport on a part-time job during the silly season on aircraft turnarounds. Yeah. I worked during the summer, the funny season we used to call it, when holidays were on, and did quite a lot of flights from there. Right, well, Seaman strike was on. We were ferrying British Midland Airlines, as it was I was working for. They were ferrying ice cream and food and all that into Belfast. Did quite a lot of flying in various airplanes of British Midlands. Mike Bishop was the chairman of British Midland. He was the actual station manager at Manchester Airport then for British Midland.
And what was it you were doing?
Turnarounds on the aeroplanes, tidying the seats, after the aeroplanes landed, putting the fuel in with the tankers.
So how did you get to Woodford eventually?
When I got enough experience, I decided I wanted to work on aeroplanes. My father worked for Henry Simons, and he said, I'll get you a job there as an apprentice. I said, no, I want to go and work on aeroplanes.
You wanted aircraft?
The rest really is a lot of history. I got an apprenticeship at Woodford, and everything I'd done at Macclesfield College, I did again.
Oh, you repeated it? Yeah.
Repeated it in the training school here at Woodford.
You started as an apprentice?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where does it go to from there?
Well, I got an apprenticeship, did the necessary years as an apprentice. Yeah. And then I got a job as a fitter on the airplanes that we were building. And then the ATP was done, and I got the task of looking after the ATP as an engineer to get it into service.
So what sort of things would you be doing there?
Well, we did quite a lot of trips abroad to do hot weather trials, cold weather trials. We went to Rovaniemi in Finland to do the cold soak at minus about 20 degrees, something like that, and cold soak the aeroplane. Did all various other tests on it just to make sure that the aeroplane was capable of working in all temperatures. And then we went down to Death Valley in the States
testing for extreme weather conditions.
Hot and cold.
And did you need to make changes then after those tests?
No, the airplane behaved quite well, considering it was a brand new airplane.
So that was a good aircraft then?
It was.
What was it you liked about that aircraft?
It was very easy to work on. A lot of people used to call it the Advanced Turboprop, the ATP, but it was a good airplane. And when we'd done the hot weather trials down in the Mojave Desert, we knew what the airplane was capable of. So on the way back, we stopped off at just in the top of Canada, and we decided that we were going to fly direct from there to Woodford, and we did it. I think it was about 9.5 or 10 hours solid, and I was given the ATP as a present to work on, and I went to various places that had the aeroplane. My good lady let me go on these tasks, didn't you, love? But so that, and then eventually, obviously, I became a project manager on the ATP and that. And when Michael Bishop come to Manchester to pick his new aeroplane up, he spotted me and he remembered me. And the chief man at Woodford, I'm trying to think who it was, came to me the next day and said, "What you were talking to Mike Bishop for?" Sir Michael Bishop, because he was knighted then. I said, "I know him because he was manager at Manchester Airport on British Midland."
Yes, that's how you knew.
Yeah, it's a small world. Still is a small world, aviation.
Did you have other favourite aircraft in your time here?
Buccaneer.
Okay, tell us a bit about the Buccaneer then.
Well, we did an upgrade on the weapons system on the Buccaneer, and all of them came through Woodford. We did the guys did all the work on the aeroplane to update the actual Buccaneer with for the new armaments it was going to carry, and that was quite an interesting see.
Yeah, and do you remember what was your job on that? Do you remember?
I was foreman. We were involved with the Vulcan in the Falklands, or we converted bunkers into tankers, because the tankers that the Air Force had went down towards the conflict down in the Falklands. So we converted here at Woodford aeroplanes for tankerage, and they were flying down to middle of the Atlantic and then coming back up, and they were feeding the Vulcans, because the Vulcans did a flight down to Falklands and bombed the Falklands, as we know, but they needed protection, so they were protected by Buccaneers and various other.
So doing that conversion would have been a rush job, I guess, wouldn't it?
A little of a rush job, yeah. It was cobbled together.
How about Nimrods? Did you work on Nimrods?
I used to occasionally. I was compliment to do the flight engineers station in the excuse me, on them, and that was a good one. That was interesting. Again, always something different.
What about your involvement with the museum? Did you not do a lot of work on the Vulcan, on the restoration?
Yeah, I was in charge of the restoration of the Vulcan.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Because she'd sat outside for ages. Yeah.
So was it not in particularly good condition?
It was not in very good condition.
So how did you set about bringing it back to its former glory?
Well, the top of the aeroplane on the plane itself was very bad because it was weathered. To actually get it to a standard where we could work on it and have it functioning took quite a lot of time. The back end of the aeroplane, where the flaps and slats and slots were, was very badly affected with corrosion. So we got plans to reclothe it with new aluminium, and that was a big task. We got it working. A lot of the systems working. The electricians got that done.
How did you get? You must have needed parts. How did you get those?
We were begged, stealed, and borrowed, so to speak. Yeah. Well, there was a guy that came to help us on the restoration of the Vulcan, because we couldn't get it back in a flying condition because all the back end of the aeroplane was corroded, and we had to we got a load of sheet of aluminium, and we actually refitted sheets of aluminium that had been painted. What we did, we got about 40 sheets of aluminium, about 8 foot long and 10 foot wide, and we actually riveted the sheets onto that Vulcan outside. If you go on top of the wing and have a look, you'll see what we've done. And there was a guy that was helping us doing the restoration. he worked for a paint company. So we got a load of aluminium sheeting. He took them away. He allochromed them, and primed them, and put it in the anti-flash white. I know the guys have been looking after it. Yeah.
Oh, they have. Yeah, they're very proud of it. Yeah, but it's great that you did all that work that put it on the right road, didn't you?
Well, it wasn't me that did all the work. I was in charge as a foreman. It was the guys that did it. And we got it working, and the electricians worked on it, and we got the power on it.
Yeah, because of now the Bombay doors open.
The doors open, yeah. I don't know whether they're still open.
No, they do.
They're still open.
Oh yeah. So you must be very proud of that. That aircraft could have really deteriorated.
It was. It had deteriorated.
I mean, it could have been, unrescuable.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I mean, I'd say not me, it was we. Yeah. It was an effort. All guys that worked on the airplanes here at Woodford. Yeah, a gang of them. Yeah.
What is it, do you think, about the Vulcan that is so fascinating?
Well, considering the time it was built, was a tremendous achievement, because they built this aeroplane with no wings on it. It was a solid aeroplane.
It was way ahead of it.
Way ahead of time. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Any other things you remember very fondly about?
Well, I used to do engine running on. I was also trained to do the flight engineers panel on the Vulcans.
Are there any people you remember fondly that you worked with?
Well, one guy I did was Kevin Moorhead. Mm-hmm. Well, Kevin was a test pilot here at Woodford, and he unfortunately died in an accident at Barton to start with as an apprentice here, and he worked his way up, and he became a test pilot. Kevin, as far as I was concerned, we were friends. Yeah, we had a lot of pilots, and there was Robbie Robinson. He was in charge of the Empire Test Pilots training school at Boscombe Down, and he became a pilot here.
So you got the chance to meet a whole range of people, didn't you, really?
Yeah, including Mrs. Thatcher.
No, tell us about Mrs. Thatcher.
Well, the day of the Manchester Air crash, she actually came up, Thatcher did.
Yeah.
She was parked outside the line. She landed here, and she had a chat with everybody that was around before she flew back down to London.
Did you have a chance to have a chat with her?
Yeah. Well, we was waiting for her to come get in the aeroplane, and we were stood at the...
And I meant, but how did she seem? Was she quite chatty?
She was, yeah. I remember her saying there was a few of us, we were all in our white coats, the flash jackets, the yellow ones, because we were out on the airfield, and she came over to us and said, "Thank you for letting me use your airfield." I said, "It's not mine." But she spoke to us all, not just me.
And of course, the Vulcan, you can't mistake the sound, can you?
You can't. The howl. It was a pleasure to work on them, and it wasn't just working on the aeroplanes. I saw a lot of the world.
You talked about the ATP and testing that. Remember which other parts of the world did you go to?
Iceland. Yeah, went to Iceland.
Yeah.
And do a COSO. Turkey. Oh yeah. Turkish Airlines. They had ATPs before they had it.
Oh, before they had it.
Yeah, and then they signed the contract to have it. I think it was about 6 airplanes they had. Oh, I went to Colombia, because they had an ATP, the airplane offers.
Dave, I'm really very, very pleased to have met you.
Pleasure.
And thank you for coming in and doing this recording and sharing those experiences.
No problem.
They'll be of great interest to people. It was a real privilege to have the opportunity to talk to Dave and share in his passion. He has every reason to be proud of the work that he led so ably to restore our Vulcan. And of course, the team continues with great dedication to look after it. When you visit the museum, don't forget that all year round, you can do a 20-minute guided cockpit tour of Vulcan X-ray Mike 602, which is inside the museum. And in the summer months, there's usually an opportunity to go outside onto the Vulcan Park for an extended tour of X-ray Mike 603, the aircraft which we've heard Dave talking about in this podcast. We hope to get him back to talk to us at some point in the future. In the meantime, please join us for the next episode of the Avro Heritage Museum podcast. But it's bye for now from me, Chris Bissett.
Make sure you follow us in your podcast app to ensure that you don't miss out on future episodes.